Prime time meets big time for Steve Silsby and the Coyotes basketball team. The squad goes for its fourth straight win, taking on explosive Glendale. Coyotes and Gauchos about to cut loose at the Coyote Center on the Chandler-Gilbert Sports Network. Good evening, everyone. Joe Pequeno, Matt McCurdy on the call. Thanks for sticking with us on the second half of the doubleheader. You just saw the Lady Gauchos knock off Chandler-Gilbert 39-36. And for Coach Steve Silsby, despite all the injuries, Matt, and they continue to pile up, they're finding ways to come out the court with some wins.
Yeah, I mean, the boys have done a great job. They've really taken adversity, looked it in the face, and said, we're not going to quit. And that's what you love to see from the team. But no doubt, losing guys and injuries are going to be devastating to your lineup, to your roster. And what we saw from Scottsdale a week ago in that matchup, the boys just frankly got tired near the end. And that's going to happen when you got a small roster, a dwindling roster because of injuries.
So they are coming out and feeling confident after that grind-out win over Scottsdale. Ollie Hinder with 18, Connor Aldridge with 11. But once again, Matt, Connor Aldridge will not be suiting up tonight.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a huge loss. The Aldridge twins played such a key role to help Ollie Hinder, who's really the lone post after several injuries for Parker Larson, Ty Cochran. The Aldridge twins were really those key players playing that in-between, right, helping down low, but also so key at the three-point line. Connor hit 2 massive three-pointers in that Scottsdale game. Had he not had the head injury, I think he would have hit a few more, but that's not going to be a factor tonight.
Coyotes shot 38% in that victory, 14% from three. They won the rebounding battle 33-31. Tonight they face a Glendale team that can really light it up. They're averaging 90 a game, and of course they're not going to do that here tonight, but they can fill it up.
Yeah.
Last time out, a hard-fought 86-80 loss to number 7, Pima. Hester with 27 points with 5 threes and a loss. Lamont Johnson with 15. Jordan Kuak with 10. Glendale was out-rebounded 43-28. They're a little on the smaller side. They're quick. They can score, quick off the dribble, but they are a little smaller.
Yeah.
Glendale shot 42% in that loss, 41% from three. Of course, they're led by 20-point scorer Jordan Kurak, third in the league. And they've got a lineup that can score. Davis Hester putting up 17. He shoots 48% from three, plus Kenny White and Lamont Johnson putting up 12 apiece. Ty Gibbs runs the show, averaging 6 assists per game, ranked second in the league. And also watch out for Abdul Salah. He comes off the bench putting up 7 and 6. He's shooting 64%, which is ranked 4th in the league, and ranks 11th with over 6 rebounds a contest. Glendale shooting 47%, 35% from three, averaging 43 rebounds with 21 assists. For the Coyotes, Ollie Hinder leads the Coyotes with 13 points, 5 rebounds. Will Coates with 12 points. Coates shooting 54%, 55% from three, first in the league. Connor Aldridge, who will not play, puts up 10, and Jamin Price with 9. Coyotes average 75 points, shooting 46%, 33% from three, 68% from the line with 41 rebounds, 13 assists per game. Coyotes, the best defensive team in the league, allowing 59 a game. Glendale allows 69 points. Of course, we talked about Chandler-Gilbert coming off that gritty win over Scottsdale. Ollie Hinder leading the way in that one. And now it's a matchup here as Glendale being introduced. It starts with Ty Gibbs, a redshirt freshman, and Davis Hester from Liberty High School. Jordan Kuak and Lamont Johnson from Central High down in Phoenix. Abdul Saleh. And they're led by their head coach, Ken Carrillo. And now it's the Coyotes. As the Coyotes about to step on the floor. Coyotes with a record of 8-4, 2-1 in league play. They've rolled off 3 straight wins. Price and Salah Thomas. Will Coates having a big year, shooting 55%, 57% from 3. Carter Carab in the starting role. And Ollie Hinder will fill it up down in the post. Steve Silsby will lead the charge. As we look at the D2 standings, Pima 4-0, Chandler-Gilbert 2-1, South Mountain 2-1, Scottsdale 2-1, Glendale 1-2, Mesa 1-3, and Phoenix 0-4. And we are getting ready to run right here in the second half of our doubleheader from the Coyote Center. So glad you can join us. Matt McCurdy back on the call after doing the PA duties. And Matt, we saw Chandler-Gilbert had to grind through Scottsdale. And big thing is, do they have enough fuel in the tank to go 2 halves with this explosive Glendale team?
Yeah, that's really the question. I mean, they're in a tough position with a low bench and roster and a lot of talent out due to injury. So it's going to be all hustle and heart tonight in this matchup.
QAC wins the tip, and Glendale throws it away down the blocks as Lamont Johnson right into Will Coates. So Coyotes defensively starts with a key stop to set the tone, a momentum setter. As Salah in the lane, Carter Carab in the paint. He'll dish it out to Thomas, who lets it fly from long range. That's off the front of the iron. And Gibbs working the point. And it's swung out to Abdul Salah. Field goal percentage off the charts, over 60%. 13 on the shot clock. Will Coates rotating on the top of the perimeter. 7 on the shot clock. Shot is up from the wing, and that's off the side of the iron. Pulled down by Lamont Johnson. And an early basket by Glendale. Ollie Hinder has it taken away, stripped by Lamont. Ty Gibbs works in the corner, shot is up, and that is in and out. A good look by Davis Hester.
And that's
2-0.
And that's that 43% from the three-point line that David Hester has in the bag. And that's something the Coyotes are going to have to lock up, make sure he doesn't get away with it.
And it's Hester missing the breakaway. Will Coates thought about it. Coates dumps it to Jalen. And Jalen will reset it. 18 on the shot clock. Salah Thomas works it to Ollie Hinder. Picked up by QAC. QAC coming out of the post. Carab gets blocked down low, but he follows his shot. And the Coyotes missed the putback as Coates could not deliver. Gibbs shoots it to the outside. Worked to the top of the paint. Lamont Johnson works it over to Abdul Salah. Backdoor floater off the glass, and Ty Gibbs. And Gibbs will shoot one.
And that was just a great read offensively by Ty Gibbs. Saw the switch up, saw the confusion on defense, took the lane, quick give and go, and he gets the points.
Ty Gibbs at the line. 80% free throw shooter. Connects. A 5-0 Glendale lead. Hinder going strong, and Ollie gets fouled, hacked on the way in by Lamont Johnson. That's Johnson's first, as Ollie will go to the line, and Ollie, as good as he's been, will be the first to say he's got to be better at the free throw stripe, shooting only 58%. And that's going to make Dad very happy as he knocks down the first.
And that's going to be a key component to Ollie's game. You know, we see so often him go up strong, he's getting fouled, and even most games, double, triple teamed, that free throw shot becomes almost, the magical part of his game if he can master it.
Knocks down 1 of 2. Gibbs so fast, and the pass inside, and breaking inside was Mike O'Neal. O'Neal on the easy feed as he broke away. 7-1 Glendale. Coates over to Thomas. Beat up by Hester. Will Coates. Coates will let it fly from the outside, and Will just a little long on the stroke. Gibbs flying up the court, works it to O'Neal. O'Neal, a couple dribbles, gives it off to Hester. Hester over, and the inside look, looking for the cutter. He was looking for Kuak, and that was Abdul Salah. Make that Salih, who was trying to work it inside. 7-1 Glendale. Coates, this Coyotes team playing without Connor Aldridge tonight, recovering from an upper body injury, and Price tied up down in the blocks. And they call the foul on Salih. Price works it down low. And Mike O'Neal gets called for the foul as checking in. Victor Wanjohi, a bigger body.
And you hear Coach Silsby yelling to his boys, don't let them body you. Get in front of them. Be aggressive. And so far, Glendale's doing a good job putting a man on top of the Coyotes.
Ollie underneath, getting double teamed, and mad scramble, and Javen tracks it down for a split second, thrown back. Gibbs up the floor. Kuak puts it on the paint. Going strong, goes in and out. Coates rips it down. Javen that right side. And now the Coyotes will reset. Coates lets it fly. And Will sizzling from 3. And Will, can't say enough, leading three-point shooter in the conference. And Coates comes up with the block in the other end.
And I love that for Will Coates. We did not see enough of that in the Scottsdale game. He was triple teamed, double teamed, everything and above. And that's a sweet spot. He can really hit from there. So I love that he's doing that early.
Gibbs.
Good block.
And Will comes up with a block. And right now, Will Coates is nonstop energy on both sides of the floor. Coates inside. The feed to Carter. Carter will go to the line. And Kuak picks up the foul.
And I'm loving the energy Will Coates is bringing to the court for his team. He senses a lag in the offense, a little bit of being pressured by the Glendale Gauchos. And what does he do? He moves quick, gets the ball, puts some points on the board, and fires up his team.
Carab at the line. Gets the soft roll. 7-5 ball game. Coyotes on a 4-0 run. And now in the lineup, Kenny White from St. Mary's High School. Freshman point guard, located right downtown. Also in the game, Chasey Pavey from Sunrise Mountain High School. It's always good to see a lot of these local kids that have played high school ball in the Valley right here. You see them in the AIA for the Arizona Interscholastic Association, the high school governing body of the high school sports in Arizona. Then you see them playing on the community college circuit. So the Gauchos turn it over. 7-6 ball game. 5 minutes have gone by here in the first. So glad he can join us. Carab works it over to Coates. Will double down in the blocks. Carter. And they're going to call a blocking foul, and that's on Victor Wanjohi. That's his first.
And I love that execution from Carter Korab. I mean, he saw number 33, was playing up really strong on him. He's bodying him well, making sure he kind of wards off that defense. And then look, forced to reach him with a little dribble.
So the Coyotes off the inbounds. Price inside, Will elbow. Little too strong. Pulled down by Wanjohi. Wanjohi swings it over. And the tip out of bounds by Javen Price. Mike O'Neill. Coach checking out. Crab checking out. Quality minutes. Nolan Christensen getting his opportunity. Ollie Hinder back in the game, providing some post presence for the Coyotes. Swung out. Davis Hester. Tegan Mulalny now in the game for the Coyotes. Worked on that left side. Wanjohi lets it fly. That's off the mark. Nolan pulls it down. And right now, all Steve Silsby wants to see from his bench is productivity. Mulalny, long range, off the mark, and Jalen might have gotten away with the travel before the pass. Left side. Couple dribbles. Loses the handle. They get it back to Wanjohi. Hester fires it up. And Davis Hester. Smooth, 9-6. Glendale lead. Christensen. Hinder on that left side of the key. Cohen Aldridge in the ball game. Tegan Mulalny gets it down low to Ollie. Ollie. And Ollie can't get the roll. And they're going to call the foul against Nolan Christensen. 9-6. A full timeout for Coach Silsby. But you know, Matt, look, Coyotes are not playing at full strength. 7 minutes have gone by, and here they are, trailing by 3. If you're Coach Silsby, has it been picture perfect? No. But when you're lacking bodies, 7 minutes have gone off the clock. You're at home taking on a rested Glendale team that knows how to score. You're in the game, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, no, I think they've really handled the last few minutes of this half really well and executed well as we've seen. But I will say, you know, we're seeing some more of those reserve squad team members on the court a lot earlier than you might see in some of the games previous because they're just low on numbers. And look, he knows it's going to be a physical game. That's been seen already. So he's got to rest his players and rotate quite a bit.
9-6 as Glendale comes out of the timeout. On the floor, Davis Hester, Abdul Salih, Chase Pavey, number 4, Lamont Johnson, as well as number 11, Kenny White. Coach Silsby keeping his team on the floor just a little longer, maybe to harness every second of rest for his squad. Of course, the bodies, Lockie McCain out with a lower body injury. He's been out for a while. Connor Aldridge out with a head injury, suffered in the win over Scottsdale. Parker Larson, starting center, out for the year with a lower body injury. And Ty Cochran out with a lower body injury, suffered back in September. 4 key bodies out for Chandler-Gilbert. Davis Hester and Abdul Salih in the back door, and that one's going up. And the quickness you can see of Kenny White cutting to the basket. Call the foul on Ollie Hinder. That's his first. Kenny White will shoot a pair. 50% free throw shooter. Putting up 12 a game. Knocks down the first. 10-6 Gauchos. And White, smooth, hits on both. 11-6 Glendale. Coyotes. Cohen Aldridge loses the handle after being pressed in that sidelines. The alley as Kuak was going up strong. And Kuak, you can tell he's got some serious hops. try to go over the top. And the foul goes against Thomas. That's his first as Kuak at the line. 20-point score, and you can see why. He's got incredible hops, electric in transition. And can fill it at the free throw line as well. That's his first. First point of the night. Will Coates back in. Carter Carab back in. Limited rest for the starters. You just can't go deep. And that's going to be the case. Steve Silsby will give his starters maybe a minute or two, depending on the flow of the game. And does it go well, their numbers are called immediately. Coates, left side. Swings it over to Ollie Hinder. Ollie puts it on the floor. Ollie muscling. And Ollie can't scoop it in. Kenny White, transition. White works it inside. Carter on the steal. Carter will pull it out. Smart play. It would have been a 1-on-3. The correct call by Carter Crab. Reading the defense well. Winding down with 12 minutes left in the half. Coates, high screen. Coates looking for Cohen Aldridge on that right side. Going away.
And that's just been the unfortunate part of these last few minutes. Just a couple bad misreads, you know. Cohen Aldridge coming down the court, getting it snagged in the trap. And then that bad pass right there that went out of bounds. And not even a bad pass, but just Carter Korab and Will Coates not quite communicating well and getting the misread.
Kenny White bringing up the floor. Being pressured by White.
Good snag.
Ollie Hinder. Big hands. Takes it away. Javen gets the screen from Ollie. Javen gliding and can't connect off the glass. White going the other way, and White high off the glass.
Ooh.
And going up tall, Lamont Johnson. And Johnson and Aldridge. And they call the possession as and right now they're talking to Coach Carrillo, who looks like he might blow a vessel in his brain. He is just all fired up, and you love to see that. He's 66 years old. He's had numerous coaching stops. His brother's the head coach of Cochise, and you know, he told me before this one he's got about 3 years left, and then he's done. Cohen misses from long range. Ty Gibbs back in the game. Kenny White on that right side. So right now, Glendale with some great guard play, and Gibbs and White on the floor. It's missed underneath. Hot potato. Crab battles for it, pulls it. Javen Price. And Javen will shoot a pair.
And so far, Joe, I mean, the Coyotes defense, they've done a great job. They've held Glendale down to a minimal amount of points. And Glendale's got some great scores. We talked about that in the pregame. You know, obviously, Davis Hester, 17 points a game. Jordan Quack, 20. Kenny White, 12. And then Lamar Johnson with 12 points per game. So they're all great scores. They've done a good job. But can that sustain? That's the real question as the clock winds down and Coach Silsby has limited players.
Nolan Christensen trying to battle underneath. And Nolan with a good positioning against Abdul Saleh. 10:55 left in the first half. A sluggish one. 12-6. Gibbs underneath, works it in the corner. Swung up top. Gibbs. Coach Carrillo pleading for his team to move and cut, move and cut. And it, by chance,
Good hands.
and Gibbs comes up with it. White long range, and White sizzling from three. Connects. He's got 5 points, 15-6 Glendale. Carab worked over to Cohen Aldridge. Cohen lets it go. Cohen off the front of the iron. Nolan underneath. And Nolan cannot control it underneath the rim. Tegan Muldowney checking back in. A 15-6 Gauchos lead. Coyotes, no Connor Aldridge tonight. Connor, one of the team's leading scorer, out with an injury. Suffered against Scottsdale. Gibbs swings it to Hester. Hester from three. And Will Coates grabs it. And Javen Price works it out to Coates. And Will dumps it down to Carter Carab. Carab, one-on-one against Salih. Turnaround, and that was something pretty by Salih.
And I love that read by Carter. He sees he's got defense in all directions. Doesn't feel like he can body it up, but he does have a good little float jumper. I mean, use that all night long. Push off, get a nice jump.
Great play by Carter Carab, I should say, on the turnaround against Salih. 15-8. And Carter gets it right back as Tegan Muldowney is back in the game. Tegan shoots it over to Carter. Top of the right side of the key. Javen down in the lane, gives it up to Carter. Carter driving into the paint. Elbow, shoots it out to Will. Will, baseline. Will follows his shot, going strong, and Will just battling underneath. And Will outworking Glendale. And that foul is against Kurak, and that's his second. And talk about drive and determination. Will Coates showed it on that play. And Will, nice and smooth from the free throw line. 66% free throw shooter. 54% from the field, 55% from three. And Will knocks them both down.
And Joe, this is one of those games where every single advantage, even small, has got to be utilized. They just don't have the luxury of not. And you know, Coach Silsby taking the extra time in the timeout, letting his guys rest. Will Coates using that extra height that he has over these guys to get those 3-4 rebounds and a foul. I mean, it's what they're going to have to do.
Abdul Salim, that shooting percentage is over 60%, one of the best in the league, and showing why with a little spin and bank off the glass. Carter thought about it. Carter to Will, and that is swatted away by Lamont Johnson. Nolan in the lane. And Nolan was trying to work it inside of Will Coates. And Coach Silsby animated talking to Nolan Christensen, be more aggressive on the offensive end. Lamont Johnson with Nolan Christensen playing tight defense. A 7-point Gaucho lead. Shot is up from the outside. That's off the mark. Spins around the rim. Coates on his way to a double-digit rebounding night. Javen, Will Coates from three. And Will off the iron. Tegan tries to save it. And that rolls out of bounds. Back in the game for Glendale, Mike O'Neill. Another one of these kind of stretch forwards for Glendale. Dumped over to Salih. Gibbs. Great at distributing that time. Ran into a wall and Hinder. Muldowney calls out the offensive set. Hinder, 16 on the shot clock. And Ollie almost loses the handle. And they're going to call the foul on Salih. That's going to be his second. And as we saw Ollie turn that corner, which is not, you really don't want to see Ollie, that's not really his game. His game is around the rim. But as he turned that corner, slipped, got that slight push, and will go to the line to shoot a pair. He's 1 of 2 from the line tonight. A 7-point Glendale lead. Misses on the first. 1-on-1 situation. O'Neal over to Hester. Muldowney on Hester. They swing it over to O'Neal. Now it's kicked in the corner. That's off the iron. And going up and pulling it down among the trees, Davis Hester. Javen Price coming out as Crab about to go back in. Glendale working an extra possession and then some. Worked out. Good defense by the Coyotes. Banked off the glass. A great play by Chase Pavey. Chase Pavey with some good work. High arcing shot off the glass. 19-10. Javen Price. And they're calling the foul against Mike O'Neal. And Coyotes catch a lucky break right there because no question that was an offensive foul of Javen Price as he backed in Ty Gibbs.
Yeah.
So the Coyotes in the bonus. Muldowney, big, hits the first.
And once again, another small but great advantage for the Coyotes in this game. They're in the bonus, utilize it, get fouls, go to the line.
And Teagan comes up big, connecting on both. 19-12. 6 and change left this first half. So glad you can join us on the Coyote Sports Network. Matt McCurdy, Joe Pequeno on the call. Coyotes depleted. Connor Aldrich out with an upper body injury as Davis Hester throws that away, looking for the low blocks, and the communication goes awry. Javen looking to get in the scoring column. Carter Crab. They work it to Cohen. O'Neal on him. Cohen the spin. And great job by Cohen Aldridge. And the foul's on O'Neal. And that's his third already. And Coach Carrillo, you get the sense with O'Neal, wants his young man just to be a little smarter on the court. Utilize the body the right way and don't pick up ticky-tack fouls.
Right, no doubt.
Kuak back on the floor. Jordan Kuak. So far, only 1 point in this one. Coyotes playing the kind of game they need to play. Nolan underneath. And Nolan among the trees draws the contact against Lamont Johnson.
No, you're absolutely right, Joe. This is the type of game, as much as a fan, we don't necessarily like to see the boys spending time at the free throw line. It's not as intense, exciting, but this works because it not only gives them more shots, but also it gives their team rest, right? They get to stand there, they take a little break, cool down, and they need that. They're going to need that heavily in this game.
And Nolan comes up big, connecting on both. 4-point game, an eternity here in the first half. 5:44, Lamont Johnson swings it over to Kenny White. Kenny White, Carter Carab chasing him on top of the key. Gibbs swings it out to Hester. Hester
Shot
from the outside, buries it. Hester with 4 points. Coyotes down 6. Javen Price driving, and Javen gets into the scoring column. 4-point game. Coyotes answer on the other end. Lamont Johnson swings it over. White from the outside, and Kenny White, long-range dagger. And a 30-second timeout, and Kenny White, his second three. He's got 8 first-half points.
Wow.
So the Coyotes lacking bodies, but they're hanging. And so far, for Glendale, you got to figure, I think what's infuriating Coach Carrillo, just to keep the pace up-tempo.
Yeah.
Constantly force Chandler-Gilbert to run and burn out all their energy.
No, absolutely. That is a strategy that, look, the Coyote bench, I mean, it's small, it's few. They don't have a lot to work with. So run, get them tired, and force them to wear out the engine early.
Will Coates on the left side. Javen Price directing traffic. Kuak coming out from the post. Nolan Christensen dumps it down to Carter. Nolan gets it back. Holds his poise. Puts a dribble down, shoots it over to Carter. And Carter Crab and Lamont Johnson battling as Carter lost track. Davis Hester from three, and Hester knocks it down. He's got 8 points. The lead is 10 for Glendale. Right side. Cohen Aldridge swings it over to Will Coates. Coyotes passing it on top of the key. Carter point blank. Carter can't connect underneath. Lamont Johnson and Carter get tangled up as Carter gets called for the foul.
And that's one of those tough fouls. I mean, really, Carter Korab coming down after the missed shot, just trying to land, get his footing, and met the leg of the other opponent and tripped over the back end.
And Coach Steve Silsby pleading his case in the referee's ears. Gibbs back on the floor. Kenny White, who has proven he can knock down anywhere from any time. He's got 11 points. The lead is 13 for Glendale.
And this is really similar to what we saw from the women's game. Now, not as many three-point shots from the women as we saw from the men's team from the Gauchos, but really more of a guards game, not as much of a down-low game that we've seen from other teams they've played in this conference.
Javen Price working hard against Ty Gibbs, and Gibbs picks up his second, but one change, we already see that the Coyotes are going to have to guard the three-point line against Kenny White. We saw the Coyotes get torched from long range by Pima, and no question, when you watch Kenny White, who has come in and shot the ball very well, 47% from the field, 36% from three. He's already knocked down 3 threes. Can't let him get open looks. He's got to work the ball a little harder. He has to put the ball on the floor and not set up and just take target practice from the outside.
Exactly. I mean, if they allow that, that's going to be a huge game changer for them. There's nothing they will be able to do to catch up if they continue to let him just score from the outside. And likewise, I tell the Coyotes, they need to start shooting from the outside. You can tell this Gauchos team really doesn't have a down-low defense, and so they're used to protecting the inside and letting people shoot. Take that to your advantage.
Worked in the corner. Kicked outside. Kenny White left open again. This time, misfires. The big board by Wanjohi. Kuak misses from three. Coates pulls it down. Will with 6 rebounds in his first half. Cohen Aldridge, middle of the floor. Ali Hinder picked up by Wanjohi. Cohen in the lane. Works inside. A very tight passing lane that leads to a turnover, and Coyotes trailing by 11 with 2:57 left. Plenty of time, but right now they have to spread the floor out a little bit more, start producing from the outside to make Glendale respect them, and hopefully the lane will start opening up. Kenny White, couple dribbles, working Cohen Aldridge. Chase Pavey, he's got an opportunity from three, and Pavey, release, rotation, and all net. 33-19. Glendale with a purpose. Carter thought about it. Carter the floater. Pulled down by Kurak. White transition. Shoots it. Pavey. And Pavey stepped out. So now you kind of recognize the shooters for Glendale. White and Chase Pavey, who's really come in, hasn't played much.
Great.
Hasn't played at all.
That's just a nice decisive play from Cohen Aldridge. Find that backdoor cut, give him the quick look, and then the reverse to put it in.
Javen And a much needed run by the Coyotes. Pulled back within 10. Back-to-back baskets, and hopefully that can spark the Coyotes. So how about Chase Pavey, who, if you look at the stats, hasn't played so far this year.
Yeah.
And he's come in, and at first he had the bad turnover. Coach Carrillo in his mug, and Coach Carrillo very theatrical on our sideline, and that's kind of an understatement. But Chase Pavey has filled the void from the outside, and Kenny White, who's averaging 12 points a game, got 3 threes in the first half.
Yeah, the Glendale Gotchas have shown that they're a threat from the outside for sure. And look, the Coyotes, they've got to start putting points on the board. And we've seen the Gotchos, their down low game not really existent. The down low posts are really more there to clear the lane. You hear Coach Silsby pleading with the refs, hey, my guys are getting held as they cut in so that the shot can get off. So Coyotes have a lot of work to do. They have to figure out how they close down that 3-point and start converting some points for themselves.
Down 33-23. Buck 58, an eternity.
Mm-hmm.
So look, if you're looking at this one right now, the Coyotes are in the game. All it takes is some stops, a 3, a couple good offensive executions, and a couple stops, and to be in this position, a lot of time left, they're in the ball game. It's just a matter of cleaning some things up, taking advantage of those point-blank looks inside, and they've had a share that they have not executed on.
Mm-hmm.
And D'ing up number 11. Kenny White shoots it over to Chase Pavey. Pavey. Wanjohi down in the box. Pavey, head fake. Shoots it out to Kenny White. White. And Tegan Maloney will get called for the foul. But like right now, look, the Coyotes have got to be a little more physical with Kenny White. He's been too comfortable in this game.
Yep. No, absolutely. At this point, the Coyotes need to bring the fight to the Gauchos and an attack. They can't allow for them to sit on the outside and just pick them off.
And now Will Coates gets the defensive assignment on Kenny White. Kenny White, space. Kenny White off the mark that time, but he had the look. Cohen Aldridge running it up the court. Gets it to Javen. 23 on the shot clock as Davis Hester comes out to meet him. Javen right side. Works over to Cohen. Pavey on Cohen. Tight man defense. Ollie Hinder has it ripped away by Kenny White. And Cohen Aldridge will get called for the reach in. And that's his first. Maloney coming back in. And Coach Silsby having a tight conversation. Several this evening with the referees. Glendale in the bonus says White at the line. A one-on-one situation. Coyotes with 17 fouls. And White filling up the box score. 13 first half points for Kenny White. And Javen Price feeling the wrath. And right now the Coyotes got to get it across the line. And they do. Maloney. Maloney almost lost the dribble. Will Coates long range. Will off the front of the iron. And they're going to call the foul against Ollie Hinder. Ollie second. And Ollie trying to find his rhythm, but that can be collectively said by the whole team right now offensively. Wanjohi at the line. The big man shooting 75% from the line. Can't connect on the first. And now the fouls are piling up on both sides as Wanjohi picks up the loose ball foul trying to follow his shot. 35-23. 49.1 second left. 49.1 seconds left, that is. Christensen. And Nolan gets the soft roll, and Nolan, 3 points. Coyotes hanging around. And that's all they can ask for. Of course, they feel regardless of who they've got, they can win this game. And rightfully so, if they just clean things up. Pavey, Christensen on him, gets the screen. Wanjohi, Hester and White are hanging out on the three-point line. Pavey, 12 on the shot clock. Wanjohi down low. And how about Kenny White cutting him? Just great recognition by Wanjohi and Kenny White. Tremendous first half. White 15 first half points.
And that's really the unfortunate part right now for the Couts. Glendale Gotcha's just more in rhythm, more in sync offensively. They were being well guarded by Couts, but that was just a great feed that led to the point for Kenny White.
And Coates misses a three, and Mullowney the prayer at the buzzer, and that's going to do it for the first half. Coyotes trailing 37 to 25, and as we look, it's really the Kenny White show, 15 of Glendale's 37 points.
Yeah, I mean, he's been tremendous for that team and really has led the march. As we've talked about, they don't really have a post game, the Gauchos. You don't see a lot down near the rim, but what they do have is some quick guards, some well-put shots, and frankly, they're just in rhythm and in sync. We saw a great feed to Kenny White from number 33, Victor Wanjoni, and he just fed it right over. So Couts got to figure out how they find their offensive rhythm tonight, and they're still in this game by no doubt. They just need to figure out exactly how they're going to start putting points on the board.
A lot of time left, 37-25. Will Coates, 5 points in this one. Nolan Christensen with 3. Scoring hard to come by. Jabin Price leading the team with 6 points. 37-25. We'll take a short halftime timeout from the Coyotes Center. Second half, 14 minutes away. Coyotes down 12 to the Gauchos. We are closing in on the second half. Coyotes trailing the Gauchos 37-25, and the stats pretty much say it all, Matt. If we break these down, Coyotes shooting 27% on 4 of 15 shooting, 1 of 10 from 3. Shots have been there. Just got to be able to knock some down.
Yeah, I mean, you really said it. Stats reflect everything, and at the end of the day, you're not going to win a basketball game with those numbers. You got to be able to convert at the hoop, and that's something Coach Silsby and even the boys, when we've interviewed them, they know if they can hit that outside three, if they can get the ball inside and put it in the hoop, they'll win games. But if they can't, then they're pretty much shot.
Meanwhile, Glendale, right around their averages, shooting 44%, 42% from 3, and Kenny White, target practice from 3, hitting 3 of 5 threes.
Yeah, I mean, with numbers like that, honestly, you're probably wondering, with a disparity like that, how are the Gauchos not farther ahead in points? Well, the Coyotes defense has been there. They've been great locking it down. The only person haven't been able to lock down really Kenny White, other than this last few minutes of the half. But yeah, so Coyotes defense, they need to keep doing what they're doing. They're doing a great job, but they've got to start scoring.
So the Coyotes, if you knew coming in the amount of injuries this team has suffered, Rocky McCain out with a lower body injury. Parker Larson lost for the year with a lower body injury. Connor Aldridge, one of the team's leading scorers, out with an upper body injury. Colliding, his forehead hit off another player in the Scottsdale win. Of course, Ty Cochran out since September. And poor Ty Cochran, the poor young man, has just suffered a litany of injuries here at Chandler-Gilbert in his time. So this team just trying to fight with what they've got and doing the best they can.
Yeah, I mean, that is really, that's the question. That's the mystery. What would this team look like if they had a full roster? What would this team look like if they were healthy? And the unfortunate part is, you know what, you can practice off a bad offense. You can practice a bad defense. You can practice all sorts of things. What you can't practice is a tough injury. You can't practice that off. So they're in a tough situation. I think they're trying to make the best of it. But look, we talked about it. Connor Aldridge, how do you not hit his head in that Scottsdale game? He may have had 2 more threes, 3 more threes. He was really going off. And who knows what he could be doing for this team right now.
Steve Silsby, he won't make excuses. He feels he's got enough to win any game, anytime. So now the Coyotes head back on the floor, trailing by 12. On the floor, Hester, Kuak, Gibbs, Soleil, and Lamont Johnson for the Gauchos. Crab, Hinder, Javen Price, Thomas, as well as Will Coates for Chandler-Gilbert. And Chandler-Gilbert will get the opening possession in the second frame. Down by 12, plenty of time. Nothing to sweat about. They've got a chance, and that's all they can ask for.
Oh.
And that one is taken away by Davis Hester. Davis Hester, that is, up and in, and not a good start for the Coyotes out of the break. Hester with the steal. And Glendale coming out double teaming immediately. Javen driving, floater, won't go. Javen tracks it down, Hinder underneath, providing a big body off the glass. Thomas from long range. And Salah Thomas with a big 3, 39-28. Lamont Johnson. And they're going to call the foul on Abdou Saleh. That's his third. Coyotes down 11. Carter Crab coming out. Nolan Christensen getting a breather.
It looks like Carter Korb just walking off. Maybe the wind knocked out of him. We're glad he's not further injured. That's the last thing the Coyotes need tonight.
Javen D'd up by Gibbs. Thomas just hit that big 3. Hinder, top of the key. He's had very little breathing room. Nolan working hard underneath.
Wow.
Nolan going strong. And Nolan up and in. And talk about some will and toughness on that. Nolan's got 5 points. Lead is 9 for Glendale. Davis Hester shoots it to the outside. Gibbs. Thomas on him. Gibbs, very quick first step. Shoots it over to Lamont Johnson. Johnson in the lane. Tries to scoop it. The block by Will Coates. Christensen has Kuak right in his back pocket. Jamin Price swings it over to Nolan Christensen. Christensen down in the box. Ollie in a battle against Salih. Ollie, floater won't go. Rolled in and out. Looked like Will was about to throw it back in off the putback. Hester picked up by Price. Lamont Johnson works it over to Kuak. Kuak into the paint. Pull up off the side of the iron. Thomas and Coach Silsby pleading with Coach Silsby actually pleading with Ollie Hinder to get up the floor. As Price lost his footing in the lane. 39-30. A lot of time left. Coyotes down 37-25 at the half. O'Neal out on the elbow. Hester. And they call the carry. And now the Coyotes with a chance to pull even closer. Thing about Glendale, they're not going away. They're not racing out. Coyotes will have an opportunity. Just got to clean some things up and got to get some productivity down in the post from Ollie Hinder.
No, you said it really well, Joe. They've had good looks. It's not like Glendale's just completely closed them out of this game. They just got to land those shots, just like that. Another great look. Got to land it inside the hoop.
Nolan Christensen can't hear the teardrop as Kuak going baseline. Kuak. He gets blocked underneath. Javen coming up the floor. Picked up by Salih. Now he'll pull it back out with 22 on the shot clock. Ollie Hinder, top of the key. Picked up by O'Neal. Will Coates dumps it to Hinder on the mismatch. And Ollie. And they're calling the goaltending on that basket. And if Coach Carrillo was going to blow a gasket at any point, that was the one to do it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see a goaltending anywhere there. Right side. Gibbs in the lane. Gibbs kicks it back out to O'Neal. O'Neal, couple dribbles behind the back. And Christensen will pick the foul. But you know what? Nolan is there. He's got fouls to give, and that's his role. Be tough, be physical, provide some minutes. Coach and Christensen come out. Aldridge and Crabb come back in. Carter is always that physical force. And this one, Carter with 3 points. Cohen with 3 as well. Right side, Kuak. Gets it up to O'Neal. 6 on the shot clock. O'Neal. And O'Neal on the fadeaway gets fouled. And Hinder picks up his 3rd. You got to wonder if Ollie will be taking a breather. And right now, Coyotes not with a lot of options.
Yeah. No, that's something they definitely need to be aware of and be looking at. I mean, Ollie can't be afforded to pick up a 4th or a 5th. And then what? You're short another body where, truthfully, you have so little to give. And just like that, Ollie Hinder will take a seat and Will Coates will swap him out.
Ollie getting a breather as O'Neal hits the first. He's got 3 points. Connects on both. The lead back up to 9. Javen racing past Gibbs. Coates swings it over to Thomas. Coates on the outside. For a second, looked like Will's going to be set up for a 3. Crabb. And Crabb inside against Salih. Carter Crabb methodically working inside the paint. 41-34. Long range from Kuak showing his range. Held in check in that first half and hits a big 3. Lead back up to 10. And it's going to be a reach in against Salee. And that's his fourth. And Kuak and Salee will check out. So right now, next time Salee steps on the court, you go straight at him. Price, inbounds. Thomas working hard, down low. Can't get the roll past Kenny White. Gibbs up the middle of the floor. Gibbs slicing. Kenny White wide open. And gets the prayer roll off the top of the backboard that drops. And Kenny White now with 20 points. The lead is at 13. Coates. Carter has it ripped away by Kenny White. Coates takes it back. Carter underneath. And Carter kisses it off the glass. Big turn of events on that sequence. Right side. Hester. And Hester throws that away. And Javen throws it away. Hester from long range. And Hester connects. And what a turn of events. Looked like the Coyotes were going to get a turnover and cut the lead inside of 10. And then Hester comes up with it. And Javen Price. And right now, Steve Silsby could be calling for a timeout and a rare misfire, but O'Neal off the hustle off Thomas. Maloney checks in. And a timeout on the floor. And just kind of meant a self-destructive minute for the Coyotes in that last frame.
Yeah, really just, and I would boil it down to tiredness and lack of hustle. I mean, even just that last play, you saw the Gachos chase that ball out of bounds, toss it back in, bounce off slide off of Sud Thomas, and get it back for their team. So you got to be on the move, you got to be on the hustle. And look, the Coyotes, no excuses, but they're short of bench. The wear and tear is starting to kick in. We're in the first part of the second half, and that's typically when you start to see it.
50-36, plenty of time, 14 and change left, but no question the Coyotes have to be more cohesive. And along the way, you're seeing some ability by Jordan Kuak, who's kept in check for that first half, only 1 point, and then comes out and hits a big three, showing his range. And Davis Hester, now he's starting to fill things up. He's got 12 points, 5 second half points. And White, well, he's been the leader of this team. 15 first half, 20 now in the game. And the big thing for the Coyotes is getting some good quality looks and being able to connect. And you're right, might be tired legs right now. But they're going to have to dig deep to try to crawl out of a 14-point deficit. White off the inbounds. Pavey in the game. Lamont Johnson, couple spins. Tough and follows his shot, and Lamont Johnson back and one. Lamont Johnson, tough and physical inside. And they call the foul on Maloney. That's his second. 52-36. Lamont Johnson connects on the three-point play. 53-36. And Glendale trapping in the backcourt. Christensen and Carter Crabb. Carter up and strong for the finish.
And that's the type of effort and energy the Coyotes need, and now use that to maintain the rest of the game. I mean, what a great play, good looks, good passes, and that was the type of offense that we want to see, where it's in sync and they're moving as a team.
Pavey inside for the basket. Coyotes can't afford to trade baskets. Carter. Lamont Johnson tight on him. Coates working the top of the perimeter. Will elbow. Misses from the outside. Pavey with the rebound. Gibbs. And right now, Glendale.
Good snag.
And Coates on the steal. And Coates with the fake and bake. Will's got 7. 15-point deficit. Kenny White kicks it out to Davis Hester. Hester and 1. As Thomas with the contact.
And Sled Thomas has got to be faster on that. He really let his man wide open, tried to jump to it, and look, as he turned around for the hand in the face, really ran into the guy and knocked him over. So, got to be a little more disciplined defensively. Make sure those threes don't go in.
Hester with the 4-point play. He has 16. So White and Hester, the sharp shooters, gunning down the Coyotes, and the lead has blossomed to 19. Cohen Aldridge on the floor. Almost has to take it away. Carter from 3 will let it go. And Carter knocks it down. And Sills calls a timeout. Carter with 12 points. 59-43. Coyotes going to need a lot of stops, a lot of execution, but they get one before the timeout as Carter comes up big. He's got 12 points for the Coyotes.
Yeah, I mean, Carter Korab has really been the shining light in this game. He's put up some great points, and what I'd love to see is that even though the Coyotes are behind, they've been behind pretty much the entire game, Carter Korab, I feel like, has really come out strong as a player in this one. He's been great on the post. I love that 3-point shot he just made. And look, the other players for the Coyotes, defense is not where we get to sit back. They've got to stay strong, especially against this 3-point shooting Gachos team.
In the game for the Coyotes, Maloney, Aldridge, Korab, Coates, and Hinder. Bigger lineup as Gibbs walks it up the floor. Swings it over to Hester, who's been hot in this second half. Just knocking down that big shot a short time ago. Good defense by the Coyotes.
You can see, Joe, I'm loving the correction made by Coach Silsby and the team in that huddle. They're being more disciplined defensively, really locking it down. I don't think Coach Silsby wants to see what he saw with that play with Salai Thomas and that foul off the 3-point, make it a 4-point play.
And that is a tough foul by Ollie Hinder, and he picks up his 4th right there. And so tough. Gave him kind of a little nudge on that baseline, and referees, that was an easy call. Lamont Johnson, top of the key. Johnson, explosive move, and Johnson glides in. Lamont Johnson. He's got 7 points. Aldridge loses the handle. Now it's all coming undone for the Coyotes. Ollie pulls it down. The lead is 18. Maloney in the corner. Cohen puts it on the deck. And they call the foul against Chase Pavey. And Pavey has a look like, me, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Pavey definitely thinking he got the hook from Cohen Aldridge as he made the spin move. But the ref will call it on Chase Pavey.
Inbounds. Will down in the box. Will mismatch. Fires it up. Won't go. Coyotes did the right thing. Hester was on Coates, and that's a mismatch. Got to work that one all day. Will can put it on the floor. Is more than capable. Ollie Hinder. Lamont Johnson. A great defense by Lamont Johnson has been highly active. Right now, Steve Silsby is looking for some answers. Feeling that the execution right now collectively is just not there. Lamont Johnson fade away. And right now it's just all going right for Glendale. Thomas, Aldridge, Christensen, and Harold Merrick about to check in for the Coyotes. The lead has blossomed to 20 for Glendale. And right now, Steve Silsby lighting up his first teamers. Aldridge misses. Thomas pulls it out. Merrick. And in the course of numerous games, we've seen Steve Silsby light into his team, but not like we've just seen in that sidelines. And rightfully so. Silsby is a competitor, and all he wants is his team to fight, battle, and listen and execute the game plan. And right now, a 10-point halftime deficit is Boston into 20 because the lack of execution and the lack of thoroughness from his squad. And
Exactly.
Coach Silsby won't have it, nor should he. Baby Gibbs, White puts it on the floor. They work it into Lamont Johnson inside. And Lamont Johnson misses as Thomas Kuak back in the game. Thomas loses the handle. Kenny White, middle of the floor. Kenny thought about it. Gibbs will pull it out, and Kenny White swings over Gibbs. Kuak down in the box. And looked like Kuak might have had a step there. Needs to say, he comes up with the bucket. He's got 6. Team's leading scorer with 20. Held in check for the most part. It's been the sharpshooters getting it done. Cohen Aldridge, 65-43. Glendale. Cohen, too strong. Pavey tracks it down. Kenny White down low to Kuak, and the pass slightly behind him. Jamin Price, Hinder, Coates, back in, along with Nolan Christensen and Mo Alney.
So now the question really, Joe, is can the Coyotes execute offensively? I think we really saw a collapse of their plays, more of a run and gun game where they were just throwing whatever came their way up in the air. And I think that's why we saw Coach Silsby really sit them down and call them back into line. He wants to see them running, and I think that's what we're seeing right now, execution offensively.
Tim, Will Coates, 3, in and out. Tough night for Will from deep. O'Neal, Kenny White shoots it over to Gibbs. Pavey in the corner. And right now, it just seems like Glendale is knocking down ducks at the shooting gallery. 63, make that 68-43. 8 minutes plus left in this one. Hinder down low. Shoots it out to Javen, will fire it up from 3. Off the mark. Mike O'Neal in a good position for Glendale. Gibbs works it to that left side. Pavey again.
Wow.
And Chase Pavey living large. And the lead is 71-43. Timeout on the floor. We'll take a timeout as well. Thirty-second timeout called by the Coyotes. And now 8 and change. We'll find out a lot about this team, as this team is playing for pride as Coates floats it in on the baseline. And this is really what it is. It's a deficit, not insurmountable. It'll take a lot, but right now we're going to find out about this team going forward. This is the first time we've seen Chandler-Gilbert in the last year plus in a position as Kenny White just continues to deliver. Now with 22, and we'll go to the line.
And You know what? Kenny White's really played impressively tonight. I mean, you could say he's just an outside shooter hitting the deep three when he's open, but look, he dribbled right in between a bunch of defenders, changed up the pace, and floated it right over the top. So it's clear there's a lot more to his bag than meets the eye, and we've only seen part of it tonight.
Quick first step, and Glendale tracks down the loose ball. Work down in the paint. White will pull it back out. White, floater. And that was just a little too easy for Kenny White. 75-45. Maloney works it inside. Great feed to Nolan Christensen. Maloney with a sweet look. Christensen with 7 points. Kuak, top of the key. Davis Hester. Will Coates with the long arms. Gets it inside. Mike O'Neal pulls it out. Kuak will let it go. Step back three. And Kuak showing that finesse from long range. Quiet first half. He's now got 8 in the second. 9 points in the night. Team's leading scorer, 20 points a game. Crab takes a baseline. And Crab loses his footing. And the foul will go against Glendale. And they're going to call the foul on Mike O'Neal. And that's his 4th. And Coach Carrillo is going to roll the dice. Up 31. He's got plenty of time and plenty of bodies to give fouls to. Will thought about for a split second. Carter underneath. And Carter mismatch and 1. Great read by Will Coates. And Carter will go to the line. Carter having a nice night. $14 points and counting. Glendale up by 28. Coyotes needing a lot of stops and then some. Gibbs shoots it over to Lamont Johnson. Lamont elbow and Lamont Johnson. And you can kind of see why this Glendale team gave Pima a good game. They're athletic, they can shoot. They play Pima style and they like to play up and down and they can match them athletically.
Yeah,
Maybe Pima's got a little bit more muscle. Of course, down in the blocks as Javen Price puts that in. They got a little more bigger bodies, a little bit longer on the wing, but Glendale gets hot. You can see why Glendale can give them a game as Thomas hacks Kuak going up.
Yeah, no doubt. The Gachos have great scoring ability. The one area, and we've talked about their weakness, don't really have much of a post game, but they sure make up for it in ability to score inside and outside the three-point line.
Yeah, they're fun to watch. They go up and down. They've got athletes, and they really put pressure on teams with their quickness. And all of a sudden, Kuak is starting to ride up the box score. He's got 10 points. Christensen checks out.
And the truth is, Joe, too, interestingly enough, they have a few guys with some size that you might think would be more of their post game, but they really utilize those post players to set screens and fill spaces down low to open up more of those shots for their guards.
Middle of the floor, Javen Price. Price fighting off the double. Crab lets it go. Elbow won't go. Ollie's there, and Ollie misses, and Carter puts it back up. Season high, 17 points for Carter Crab. We're trying to glean a bright spot. That's it right there. Backdoor, Kenny White flips it out. They work the key. Davis, Hester, long from 3. Carter rips it. Javen Price sees a wall of red, but Javen baseline and in. Good driving basket by Javen Price. And it's Hester on the other end. And that's his tired legs right there.
And that's been really the tough part of the second half. Tired legs, and frankly, as soon as the Coyotes make a point or really get a stride, Glendale Gachos answer right back with some points of their own.
And Javen Price now has 12 points, 84-58. And Lamont Johnson filling it up as well. Lamont Johnson, he's got 13 points. Javen. And Kenny White will pick up the foul. That's his first. 4:25 left. Coyotes. And a timeout on the floor as Abdul Salih about to check back in. And Salih's been in foul trouble, but squad hasn't needed him. They really, at one point, it was a 10-point second half lead for Glendale. And things have just gotten out of hand. 37-25 at the half. And Glendale's outscored the Coyotes 40-23 in this second half. And you can only play with what you got. And for Coach Silsby, he's down Connor Aldridge, Lockie McCain, Parker Larson done for the year, Ty Cochran done for the year. And we don't want to make excuses, but when you don't even have a full roster to play with, it makes it tough. And it grinds on the players you have to try to dig deep in the tank. And, you know, after a while, Glendale, look, they play one way.
Yeah.
It's full throttle. There's no let up. There's no, hey, let's slow things down.
No.
Pima, they're not going to slow things down. And the starting five has to exert a lot of energy. And, of course, that takes its toll. And not having Connor Aldridge as one of the leading scorers on the team, that's also a monumental loss for the team tonight.
Huge.
Price misses on the first. Coach Carrillo right to the left of us, asking his team to rebound as Javen misses on both. Harold Merrick about to check in. Kenny White left side. Shoots it up. Gibbs. Top works into Kenny White. White kind of slicing. Great pass to Lamont Johnson who misses, and Kenny White off the front of the iron. Now, Kenny White can't hit from three, surprisingly. Davis Hester works it over to Gibbs. 11 on the shot clock. Gibbs works it over. Hester, Kenny White in the corner. And that time it's Kenny White. White with 27. Cohen Aldridge knocks down the three. 90-69. 29-point lead for Glendale. This Glendale team puts up 90 a game. Wow. Talking to Coach Carrillo for this contest, he's like, we're not going to put that up in conference. And by no means did Chandler-Gilbert want this to become the outcome it has, but it kind of blossomed that way in favor of the Gauchos as Abdul Salih inside. Crab works it over to Javen, who will fire it up from three and connect. He's got 15 points. Merrick, Mullowney, Aldridge, Thomas, Christensen on the floor. Salih, Gibbs, Hester, White, and Lamont Johnson on the floor for Glendale. Glendale keeping some of their starters in longer. White knocks it down to Lamont Johnson. Lamont Johnson, a little spin. White outside. White off the front of the iron. Salah pulls it down. Time winding down on this one. Mullowney works over to Nolan Christensen. Cohen will let it fly from three. Cohen off the front of the iron. Gibbs very quick with that first step. Lamont Johnson, little turnaround. Oof. Turnaround sizzle by Lamont Johnson. He's got 15 points, and right now it's Glendale team showing you the versatility.
Yeah, Lamont Johnson has been a tough guy to pin down. I mean, he has just been scoring, and it seems like everything he puts up, he hits.
10 on the shot clock. Cohen with the fake, the pull-up off the side of the iron. Coyotes too tired to track it down. Gibbs coming up. Works it over to Lamont Johnson. Lamont Johnson is a rock-solid player. He's got a good first step, good touch around the rim as Maloney comes up with a steal. Winding down to 1 minute left in this one. Thomas from long range. And Salah, his second three of the night. Under a minute left, and one the Coyotes will want to remember and want to forget. It's very rare that this team suffers this kind of loss on its home court.
Yeah.
Cohen comes up with the steal as they were trying to lob it into Salee. Aldridge, little spin and pull up. Gets the roll. Cohen's got 7. And Coach Carrillo will call it a ball game. 93-69. And Glendale came in with a purpose. They came in with a healthy roster, and that's ultimately the difference in this one. They're going to improve to 2-2, 7-3 overall. And that's going to do it as the Coyotes lose 93-69. And Carter Crab with 17 points and Jabin Price with 15. And ultimately, for this squad, second half, there was just a floodgate of litany of errors and not guarding the perimeter and just so many things that we're so unaccustomed of seeing the Coyotes doing. And Glendale, a team that pushed number 7 Pima the other night, losing 86-80 in Glendale, showing that they're a force in this conference.
Yeah.
And they're going to be one to watch as you head toward the playoffs. They got a lot of firepower, and Coach Silsby and his squad just ran out of gas in that second half. And now they got to try to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, this is a tough game to walk away from. I don't think anyone wanted nor expected it to be this big of a disparity in points. But Glendale, you know what? You can't talk poorly about their game. They came in here, played well, scored point after point, and truly dismantled the Coyotes' defense in that second half. It was almost non-existent. There wasn't much that was really able to stop the points from going in for Glendale. So great execution on their behalf. And the Coyotes, you know what, did start to pick up some of the scoring in the second half, but not enough to really clean up and close the gap to put them over.
As we look at some of the numbers, and we're marking them down as we speak, Kenny White, electric in that first half, and 15 points, and he finishes with 5 threes in this one for a game-high 27 points.
Yeah, I mean, he was huge. There really was nothing they could do to stop him in the first half. They seemed like they locked him down a little bit more. But look, we talk about some of the injuries and the tired legs. No doubt is that an excuse. You know, you have to be able to play with what you got. Coach Silsby and the team is definitely at a bit of a disadvantage with less players, tired legs, and yeah, it makes for a tough run, especially when Glendale, you know, look, they had time to rest Kenny White a little bit, let him relax the legs, and then come out strong and put a few more points on the board, and that's the case with several of their big scorers.
And we can't say enough as we look at the box score. Davis Hester with 18. Lamont Johnson, who got better throughout this one with 15. Jordan Kuak, their leading scorer, with 11. But how about Chase Pavey coming off? This is his first game for the team, and he puts up 13 points. And showed why he was on the court, being able to stretch it from long range.
Yeah, I mean, when you've got multiple guys just dynamic from the three-point line, can put them away, I mean, it really opens up your options. You know, whether you had Chase Pavey on the floor or Kenny White, you knew they were going to get in there, get the job done, and that's exactly what they did.
So Glendale picks up the victory impressively. They improved to 2-2 in league, 7-3 overall. The Coyotes dropped to 2-2 in league, 8-5 overall, and they're back at it on Saturday, taking on Lethbridge Polytechnic. And we'll have the matchup here from the Coyote Center. Doubleheader night as the women and the men both take on the Polytechnic squad. And we appreciate you dialing us up on the Chandler-Gilbert Sports Network for all the great people here on campus that support Chandler-Gilbert Athletics. Russ Luce, the great AD of Chandler-Gilbert. Of course, Coach Silsby, all the great athletes on this campus that Matt and I enjoy covering and get the privilege of doing so, and all the great athletes in the Arizona Community College Athletic Conference. For Matt McCurdy, I'm Joe Pequeno. Coyotes, a doubleheader loss to the squads from Glendale, 93-69, the final on the men's side. This has been a presentation of Chandler-Gilbert Athletics.